Chosen one, pause everything, because this is not just another video. This is a divine transmission straight into your spirit, a courtroom declaration from heaven's throne, and you're not watching this by accident. You see, from the very beginning, you knew, not with words, not with proof, but with something deeper, something ancient. Even as a child, you felt it, the shift in the air when she walked into the room, the tension in your chest when her voice softened too sweetly, the way your skin crawled when her smile didn't reach her eyes. You couldn't explain it then. You didn't have the language, but your soul did. Your spirit recorded everything. This wasn't a mother. This was a mask, a perfectly rehearsed role, played by something that didn't belong in your bloodline. From the moment you were born, your intuition began to whisper, "This one is not who she pretends to be." And chosen one, you were right. You always were. She fed you poison with a silver spoon, called it love while planting landmines in your nervous system. She told the world she gave you life, but behind closed doors, she tried to take your soul. What you were sensing wasn't just emotional abuse, it was spiritual infiltration. She wasn't just difficult. She was assigned, a parasitic spirit, wearing a maternal face, a counterfeit womb sent to block your birthright. And you were dangerous to her mission from the start, because you could see through the mask, even before you had words, because your eyes, chosen one, were spiritual surveillance equipment. You weren't just sensitive, you were a weapon heaven sent wrapped in skin, and she knew it. She studied your reactions like a scientist, poked, prodded, gaslit, then called you the unstable one. She crafted her public persona carefully, a saint to outsiders, but a serpent behind curtains. And every time you flinched, every time you questioned, every time you pulled back from her touch, she felt it, that divine radar working inside you. And it terrified her, because what she feared most was the moment you'd wake up and remember who you really are. And now you're here, and now you know. And now she's shaking, because chosen one, what they labeled as too emotional, what they mocked as paranoia, was actually a prophetic alert system coded into your spirit. You didn't imagine the wrongness, you perceived it. You didn't dream the danger, you discerned it. Your discernment is your inheritance. Your sensitivity is your sword. And what she tried to call weakness was actually the heavenly firewall that protected your mind when everything around you tried to twist it. She gaslit your memories. She rewrote your childhood like it was her story to own. But heaven kept the real records, and those records are now being unsealed. You were always different. You didn't bond like others did. You noticed the hidden tensions in her compliments. You felt the venom under her hugs. You caught the shadow behind her laughter, because you weren't just a child. You were a seer in training. This is the first awakening. This is where the illusions collapse. This is the moment you stop questioning yourself and start trusting the voice inside. Chosen one, she never fooled you. She only postponed your clarity. But now your eyes are wide open, and what once protected you in silence is now rising as a roar of justice. So don't let anyone tell you that your early memories were exaggeration. Don't let anyone silence your truth because it makes them uncomfortable. Because your truth is evidence. Your memory is sacred ground, and your spirit is the courtroom where divine justice is now being served. This is only the beginning. Stay tuned, because what's coming next is going to dismantle every lie she built, brick by brick. Chosen one, it's time to uncover the truth that your soul has always known, but your heart was too wounded to say aloud. That woman, the one who called herself mother, was never truly a mother to your spirit. She was a counterfeit, a dark assignment cloaked in blood ties, not just a toxic parent, but a karmic intruder, a spiritual saboteur sent into your life under the disguise of love. She wasn't just broken, she was strategic. This wasn't random dysfunction. This was a dark covenant, an intentional pact to destroy you from within. While others saw a nurturing figure, you saw the cracks in the mask. While they praised her sacrifice, you felt the calculated chill beneath her affection. She studied your emotions like a predator studies prey. She didn't just react to your pain, she anticipated it. She set the traps before you even took your first steps toward healing. She didn't comfort you when you cried. She collected your tears, not with compassion, but with satisfaction. She built shrines in secret, not to your victories, but to your failures. Memories of your breakdowns, screenshots of your worst moments, stories twisted to paint you as unstable. She hoarded them like trophies. You were never just a child to her. You were a divine threat to her demonic agenda. She didn't just gaslight your memories. She curated your suffering like an art gallery of destruction. Every failed relationship you endured, she celebrated it. Every opportunity you lost due to her interference, she threw herself a silent party. She didn't want you healed. She wanted you dependent, confused, defeated. She used your empathy as a weapon, turning your love into your leash. She'd stab you in private, then cry in public about how much she was hurting for you. She played the victim so well, the world applauded her while she drained your spirit dry. But here's what she never counted on: your awakening. The moment your spiritual eyes would snap open and you'd begin to see her clearly. Because once a chosen one begins to see, nothing can stay hidden. Your discernment is not a guess. It is a divine scan. And you're seeing it now, aren't you? The patterns, the setups, the way your life always seemed to crumble right when you were about to rise. This was never about bad luck. This was premeditated sabotage. She was the storm disguised as shelter, the wound pretending to be the bandage, the hunter wearing your last name. And the most disturbing part? She took pleasure in your pain. Her joy didn't come from your success, but from your setbacks. She smiled the widest when you were bleeding the most. This wasn't just narcissism. This was spiritual sadism. She kept mental records, sometimes even physical ones, proof of your collapse, evidence of your trauma. She weaponized your vulnerability and documented your pain to relive it whenever she needed a dose of power. Chosen one. What kind of soul rejoices in the suffering of the innocent? Not a mother, not a protector, but a parasite, an energy thief wearing the crown of maternal authority. But what she failed to realize is that the same energy she tried to devour was protected by divine sovereignty. She touched what was marked by God, and now heaven has issued a verdict. Every fake hug, every slanderous whisper, every whispered lie to others about your sanity has been recorded by the spiritual realm. There is a heavenly dossier of every act she committed in secret, and that file is now being opened. The same mother who tried to break you is now facing the weight of divine consequence. She will witness your rise, not just in spite of her efforts, but because heaven will use her schemes as a stepping stone to your throne. This isn't just personal, it's prophetic. The war has begun, the courtroom is in session, and the false mother is being judged, not by your feelings, but by the evidence of eternity. Chosen one, brace yourself, because this isn't the end of the battle. It's the beginning of her fall. And you're rising into the light she swore you'd never reach. Stay armored, stay awake. Justice is coming. Chosen one, what if I told you this betrayal didn't start in this lifetime? What if the woman who wounded you so deeply in this era wasn't new to your story, but a repeating enemy in different costumes? This is not just a personal issue. This is a soul-level warfare, and you are standing in the courtroom of eternity with evidence stacked across centuries. The one who calls herself Mother was once the one who denounced you during the witch trials. She wore robes and called you a heretic when she feared the light in your voice. She was once the friend who turned you in when you tried to escape injustice in a land ruled by kings. She smiled at your execution because even then, your spirit intimidated the system. She was once your teacher, your mentor, your elder, but always the same assignment: silence the awakening, block the memory, delay the rise. And in this life, she chose to come through your bloodline, to pose as Mother, because nothing is more dangerous than a wolf disguised as the womb that bore you. You've wondered why your connection felt unnatural, why her energy never comforted you, only confused you, why you felt safe with strangers, but tense in her presence. It's because your soul remembers. Even when your conscious mind forgot, your spirit held the receipts. There were moments you couldn't explain. A sudden fear when she walked into the room, dreams of being chased, punished, restrained, and her face always at the center. This was not just trauma from this life. This was residue from lifetimes where she kept trying to intercept your divine calling. Each time she failed, and each time she returned, refining her disguise, adjusting her tactics, but driven by the same dark force that fears what your awakening will unleash. You see, chosen one, your soul has a light signature that marks you as a disruptor of darkness. And every realm, every kingdom of shadow has seen your name, etched in fire. That's why they keep sending the same spirits, in different forms, to try and shut you down before you remember who you are. This woman wasn't chosen to birth you out of honor. She was permitted by divine intelligence so that your first lesson would be survival, so that even your origin story would be marked by triumph, so that your light would have to pierce through the deepest betrayal and still shine. Heaven has kept a file, not just of your obedience, but of her violations. There is a soul record, an interdimensional logbook where every manipulation, every spiritual contract, every act of sabotage has been documented. And now it's being unsealed. The karmic debt is due. And this isn't just about her sins in this life. It's about a pattern of obstruction across multiple timelines. She tried to stop your voice in the ancient temples. She tried to poison your spirit in the Roman courts. She tried to rewrite your legacy in the halls of modern power. And still, you rose in every era, in every skin, in every dialect. You rose because your soul was built to complete this mission. And no weapon, no familiar face, no dark oath could cancel what heaven has ordained. She thought she'd break you in this final round. But what she failed to see is that this is your graduation lifetime, the final test, the last mirror, the full circle where the betrayer is revealed, and the chosen one steps forward, unshaken. Chosen one, your awakening wasn't a coincidence. It was a countdown. And her presence in your life? Permission to end the cycle once and for all. This isn't revenge, it's release. Because when you walk away in your full power, the game ends, and the next chapter begins. Without her signature anywhere near your soul. Stay alert, stay free. The war is almost over, and your victory was written lifetimes ago. Chosen one. Let's break something wide open. You were never meant to survive, not in their plan. You were supposed to be erased quietly, emotionally unraveled, spiritually silenced, a shadow of yourself. And yet, you're still here, breathing, rising, remembering. Why? Because every time they tried to end your story, heaven rewrote the page. The car crash that should have claimed you, missed by inches. The illness that came out of nowhere, suddenly disappeared. The mental breakdown they hoped would ruin you turned into your greatest spiritual breakthrough? That's not coincidence. That's not luck. That is divine military protocol. What they didn't see, what most people still don't understand, is that your soul came here pre-coded with a defense system, like a sacred firewall, a built-in override, a multi-layered protection grid engineered by heaven itself. And the truth is, you were never walking through fire alone. Every time you cried, there were angels documenting it. Every time you were sabotaged, ancestors stood guard around you. Every night you felt like giving up, the heavens activated a counterstrike on your behalf. Because chosen one, you are a strategic asset in this spiritual battlefield. Not just a kind soul, not just an empath, but a light weapon carrying classified codes for planetary restoration. Your pain? It wasn't personal, it was positional. You were targeted because of what you carry. You were attacked because of what you're about to unlock. So while they thought you were vulnerable, the universe already had eyes on the ambush, and every trap they set for you became their own undoing. They cursed your name and found their own blessings falling apart. They blocked your path, and doors flew open somewhere they couldn't reach. They tried to bury you and didn't realize they were watering divine seed. You see, the spiritual realm is not passive, it is reactive. It is calculated and it defends its own. That fake mother, she didn't just hurt you, she triggered an audit of every dark alliance she formed behind closed doors. That friend who betrayed you, she activated a spiritual reversal she'll feel in every relationship moving forward. Every dagger thrown at your back was caught midair by a force they will never understand, but now must answer to. Because chosen one, your protection doesn't look like a bodyguard. It looks like delay, detour, divine disguise. Sometimes your rejection was protection. Sometimes your loss was redirection. Sometimes your isolation was heaven's security lockdown to keep you out of enemy range. You didn't just walk away lucky, you walked away shielded, and not just by angels, but by ancient bloodlines, by holy covenants, by unseen armies who recognize your frequency and respond on command. You've probably felt it, those moments when things should have gone wrong, but didn't. The gut feeling that made you leave early, the sudden peace that stopped you from making a deadly choice. That's not just intuition, that's divine surveillance. That's your spiritual intel system at work. So hear this clearly. You are not vulnerable. You are not fragile. You are not defenseless. You are encoded, protected, guarded, activated. And when darkness tries to breach your light, it burns itself in the process. Because this battle was never fair. It was rigged in your favor from the beginning. The fake ones can plot. The enemies can scheme. But the truth is, no weapon formed against you will ever complete its assignment, because your assignment outranks theirs. So walk boldly, chosen one. Heaven is still watching. And your next move? Already surrounded by fire they can't cross. Chosen one, it's happening. The moment heaven warned them about and prepared you for, the charade is collapsing, the illusion is cracking, and the master manipulator is standing in the spotlight of their own exposure. You may not have seen it coming this fast, but the shift is undeniable. Those who once defended them are beginning to step back. Friends, allies, even their own enablers. One by one, and the spell is breaking. Why? Because truth leaks when it's no longer contained. And in this season, God has issued a divine subpoena. Every secret is being summoned. Every lie is being forced into light. Hidden diaries are resurfacing. Whispers are turning into testimony. Screenshots, voice recordings, old messages long deleted, all being resurrected from the shadows. What they never imagined is that their own circle is turning into witnesses. That loyal friend, now handing over evidence. That trusted messenger, now realizing they were used and stepping into their role as divine witness. This is not drama. This is courtroom prophecy. You're not watching a scandal. You're watching a spiritual conviction unfold. Because when heaven decides it's time, no mask can stay on. See, for years, they manipulated the narrative, crafted a sob story, played the victim, stirred chaos, and blamed you. And because you were silent, because you took the high road, they thought you were weak. They mistook your grace for defeat. But chosen one, silence is not surrender. It's strategy. And God was storing every tear as evidence. While they laughed in secret, heaven documented. While they smeared your name, heaven wrote theirs in the book of exposure. And now, the weight of their own lies is collapsing the altar they built around their ego. It's no longer just spiritual, it's visible, tangible. People are waking up, patterns are emerging, and even the ones who once mocked you are asking questions. Because the fruit is rotten, and no amount of pretending can cover the stench. What once was hidden behind charisma now reeks of control. What once looked like kindness now shows signs of possession. And the scariest part for them, they're losing power where they used to reign. The people are seeing, the truth is speaking, and the mask is slipping faster than they can hold it up. Chosen one, this is the hour of divine reversal. The same mouths that cursed you are now defending you. The same hands that helped cover lies are now writing confessions. And what they once thought was a perfect plan is unraveling at the seams. Because what they didn't count on was that your pain was sacred currency. Your tears were legal tender in the realm of justice. And now heaven is cashing in. You don't need revenge. You don't need a press conference. You just need to keep walking in truth. Because the light is doing what it always does, exposing the counterfeit. They tried to bury your voice and uncovered their own grave. They tried to discredit your intuition and validated your discernment. They tried to ruin your name, and now theirs is being whispered in rooms they'll never enter again. This is not your downfall. It's theirs. And as it all comes crumbling down, chosen one, remember this. You were never meant to fight dirty. You were designed to rise clean. Let the evidence speak. Let the lies collapse. Let heaven finish what it started. Because the fall of this false mother spirit will echo into every lifetime they tried to control you. And justice has already begun. Chosen one. There comes a moment when the soul can no longer hide what it has become. And now, that moment has arrived. The mask has slipped. The lies are unraveling, and their body is beginning to betray the darkness within. You've seen it. The once proud face that used to glare with control and manipulation is now worn, sagging under the weight of secret sin. Wrinkles deepened not by age but by spiritual rot. Their skin no longer glows with charm. It tightens, cracks, and loses color. Because it cannot contain what festers underneath. And while doctors may offer names and diagnoses, heaven has another word for it: judgment. This isn't just illness. This is divine retribution written into the flesh. Because what they sowed in the spirit, they are now reaping in the body. You see it in their walk. Every step is heavier. Their energy repels instead of draws. Children instinctively cry in their presence. Animals, once friendly, now back away in fear. Even strangers sense the chill when they enter a room. That's not imagination. That's spiritual contamination made visible. That's spiritual contamination made visible. For years, they tried to cloak it with fake smiles, with staged generosity, with charm and manipulation. But now, no mask can cover what their soul screams in silence. Chosen one, this is what the Spirit warned us about. When darkness goes unchecked, it doesn't just remain spiritual, it erupts into the physical. They laughed when you cried. They fed on your pain like a feast. They hoarded your insecurities and called it parenting. They delighted in your delays, your failures, your fears. But heaven watched, and now the tab has come due. The curse they cast was returned, multiplied. The sickness they wished upon you now takes root in their bones. The nightmares they sent to your spirit now haunt their waking hours. They look around, but no one is left. Their supporters gone, their allies vanished, their own reflection no longer recognizable. Because when you attack the anointed, you activate a mirror of consequence. This is not karma. This is covenant backlash. It's not bad luck. It's divine consequence coded into time. And the most haunting part? They know it. They feel the shift. They wake up each day with heavier limbs and darker thoughts. They can't pray their way out because their prayers were always manipulation. They can't charm their way out because the charm has rotted into repulsion. The people they once fooled now feel disturbed around them. Even without knowing the full story, they sense something dark lingering beneath the surface. Because darkness cannot remain hidden forever. And now their body is the billboard. Their breath carries bitterness. Their presence causes unease. Their touch avoided like poison. This is what happens when someone tries to curse the chosen and refuses repentance. Heaven responds, not always with thunder, but often with slow, inescapable deterioration. And you, chosen one, you don't need revenge, because what they're facing now isn't your anger. It's divine consequence. So let them gossip, let them accuse, let them play victim one last time. The universe is already rendering justice in a language their body cannot ignore. They cursed your life, but it's their reflection that's cursed now. They wish death on your dreams, and now they're haunted by lifelessness in everything they touch, because no one can toy with sacred destiny without paying the full price. And that price has just begun collecting interest. Chosen one, while they were busy digging your grave, heaven was preparing your throne. While they mocked your silence, God was anointing your voice. While they celebrated your pain, the Spirit was sculpting your power. And now, the tables have turned. You are not the same soul they once underestimated. You've emerged from the ashes with a stillness they can't disturb, with a peace they can't touch, with a light they can't dim, no matter how dark they become. This isn't just survival. This is resurrection. The same tears they ignored have watered the garden you now thrive in. The same battles they created built the armor you now wear with quiet dignity. Your glow isn't loud, but it's undeniable. You walk into rooms now, and the energy shifts. People don't know why they feel safer, clearer, stronger near you. But heaven knows you've become divine infrastructure. You no longer need to explain your journey. Your presence speaks it. You don't even need revenge, because your restoration is the loudest justice of all. And as you rise, they watch. They watch you receive the relationships they sabotaged. They watch you get the opportunities they tried to block. They watch your finances overflow. Your name spoken in rooms they tried to lock you out of. They watch as your glow exposes their schemes without you saying a word. Because chosen one, your very existence is a prophetic rebuttal to every curse, every lie, every shadow they threw at you. And the more you elevate, the more their masks crumble, because the light doesn't scream, it simply shines and makes every hidden thing visible. You've stepped into your anointing. No more shrinking, no more hiding. You no longer carry trauma, you carry testimony. You no longer live from wounds, you live from wisdom. You're not angry, you're activated. You've become what they feared most, not because you sought power, but because you surrendered to purpose. And the glory resting on you now, it can't be manufactured. It was forged in secret fires. It was born in betrayal and baptized in breakthrough. Your financial blessings are not just random increase, they are restitution. Your divine relationships are not just luck, they are spiritual compensation. Every door that opens now is the courtroom of heaven publicly declaring, this one is cleared to carry glory. So don't feel guilty for your glow. Don't dim it for their comfort. They had the chance to choose love. They chose manipulation. Now, you walk in divine royalty, and here's the justice they can't escape. Your success is their sentencing, because they didn't just lose access to you, they lost access to favor. They didn't just miss your presence, they missed their divine assignment. You, chosen one, are the living proof that what the enemy meant for harm, God weaponized for glory. And as you rise, the world will know. This wasn't about revenge. This was about revelation. Because sometimes, the best way to destroy darkness is simply to rise above it and let heaven do the rest. Chosen one, this was never just about you. This was a war for your bloodline. From the very beginning, they knew you were different, not just sensitive, not just strong, but chosen to be the fracture in a generational pattern that refused to break itself. They saw it in your eyes before you could even speak. They felt it in your silence, a kind of knowing that pierced through their manipulation. You weren't just the black sheep. You were the blue flame, the fire heaven placed inside your family line to purify the roots. And now, the cycle ends with you. No more daughters walking on eggshells. No more sons performing for conditional love. No more generations repeating the trauma, the silence, the soul-level starvation. You stood up, not just for yourself, but for the child your mother couldn't be, for the father your grandfather never met, for the lineage that was taught to obey pain and call it love. And when you chose healing, you didn't just shift your life. You reprogrammed the DNA of your entire bloodline. Spiritual chains snapped, psychological cages unlocked, ancestral wounds began to release their grip. And here's the miracle that makes the enemy tremble. The very family members who once denied your light are now feeling the heat of your healing. Those who once mocked your silence now find themselves called to stillness. Some are waking up with dreams they can't explain. Others are crying in private, remembering the way they once pushed you away because they couldn't handle the mirror you held up. But this is what chosen ones do. You're not here to punish. You're here to purify. And as your light rises, it casts long shadows over everything that once hid in the family name. Secrets are surfacing. The old keepers of silence can't hold them down anymore, because your very presence is spiritual testimony. You are the courtroom evidence that cycles can be broken, not by violence, but by truth spoken in divine timing. You didn't just say no more, you lived no more. You built a new blueprint. You birthed a new pattern. You didn't abandon your bloodline, you delivered it. And now the next generation, the nieces, the nephews, the children still forming, will walk lighter, love freer, and know peace not as a concept, but as an inheritance. Because you, the chosen one, chose to stand where no one else would. You turned your pain into protocol, your grief into glory, your isolation into initiation. You are not the end of the family. You are the rebirth. You are the one your ancestors prayed for, the one who answered the divine summons before even knowing the full weight of the war. And still, you stood. So now, as you walk forward in clarity, watch the tides turn in your bloodline. Estranged relatives, seeking reconnection, old family systems, crumbling without your participation, and the invisible child within you, finally seen by heaven, by earth, and by your own soul. You didn't just break the curse, you rewrote the legacy, and that will echo through eternity.